Good morning, Facebook family. Thank you for joining me and yet another episode of Tea and Talk with Hermie. Last week, we talked about time management. And what I want to leave you with four things: the four D's: delete, delegate, defer, and do. When it comes to time management, that's how we have a better life when we time manage. Some might say it's tedious, it's whatever, but when you time manage, you are less stressed. I could attest to that, and I could attest to that when you manage, you have less stress. So that was the takeaway from last week. Getting to know me. What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. A friend of mine played a game on Facebook, OMG, that said who she was. And I said, wow, Facebook nailed it. So I said, you know what? I played myself. So I did. So this who Hermania is. Hermania, I don't care what people think of me. I am nice, but I am not dumb. Once you do me dirty, I may forgive you. However, I will never treat you the same as before. Once you break my trust, you will never get the old me again. Because when I meet a person, they get all my trust. 100%. I have nothing to hold back. Nothing. I will hold nothing back when I meet you. But through the process, and you do something to lose my trust, then guess what? That's it. A 9 out of 10, you will know what to do and not to do when it comes to losing my trust, because I forewarn. I am a person who likes to forewarn people. You know my do's and my don'ts and not my curves. So this is getting to know me. Today, I have a guest. I have never met him personally, but I've seen him right here on this technology. Facebook is a wonderful technology for me. I get my spiritual food, I get my family members, I get my friends, and I catch up on things, people's birthdays, anniversary. Is how we use Facebook. Is how we use Facebook to make it productive. So I met Junior George on Facebook, and I said, guess what? You're always talking to people. Let's switch the tables around. So I have Junior George with me this morning. So I will bring Junior in with me this morning. Good
Hey,
morning.
good morning. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
I can't believe you are here, and I'm so blessed. I'm blessed to have you here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just make the call and I'm here.
I
That
see, I
easy.
see. And I have to give somebody a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Someone says to give them a shout out, so I'm going to wait for them to do their own shout out because they said they know you. I said who my guest was, and the person said, "Oh, I know him." I said, "You know what? I'll let you handle it, Mr. George.
Yes, yes, yes,
Handle it."
yes, yes.
Yes, yes. So tell us now, who is Junior George?
Wow, that's a very deep question, because um, because I often ask myself the same question. You know, oftentimes what happens is people always try to put you in a box,
Uh huh.
right? People always try to put you into their own box. Like if you are on television, you are a TV host, or if you are a mass presenter, then you are a mass presenter, and that's what you are. Uh, but I try to not define myself based on what I do because I do so many things.
Hmm.
I look at myself as a uh, an individual who likes to see people happy,
Okay.
and everything that I've done and everything that I do at the moment, it has to do with somehow making people happy. So
True.
who is Junior George? Junior is just a happy maker, if that is a term. I'm a happy maker. I like to see people happy. I like to see people smiling. I like to bring happiness, and everything, as I said, everything that I do exemplifies that.
Okay. Okay. Are you born Grenadian?
Yeah, I was born in Grenada. I was born. I am the eighth of eight kids. So I'm the last. I'm the baby in the family. And I remember growing up in Grenada, in a small village called Richmond. So that
Okay.
area there is Richmond, Ladigue, Union, a very closely knitted community.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was growing up, I oftentimes would fly a kite and run around barefoot and all of this stuff, all of the regular stuff. And I remember one day that used to be my everyday. I
Yeah.
used to stand on like a little slope right close to my house, and I
Mm-hmm.
always used to look up in the sky and see all the planes just flying overhead. And I'm like, I wonder if they could see me. And I'm waving. I wonder if they could see me, you know? And then I used to say to myself, I wonder how it feels like to
Uh-huh.
get on a plane and just fly, go somewhere and just travel. And that has always been something that I anticipated,
Okay.
I just wonder, like, what does it feel like? You know,
Okay.
and I've always just fantasized about traveling,
Nice.
because
Nice.
although I was from a small village
Yeah.
in Union, Richmond, which was a rich village, by the way, because everybody there was doing something. There was
Mhm.
there was guys who was playing cricket, and there was role models to me. There
Yes.
was there was Black Wizard is from the neighboring village, which is Ladigue.
Okay.
So Wizard at a tender age, Wizard has always he had groomed me because at one point in time I wanted to be a calypsonian, and Wizard was grooming me,
Uh-huh.
writing songs for me, and I actually went as far as taking part in the junior calypso competition. I used to be a calypsonian at a young
Oh,
age.
oh
So all of this
wow.
stuff, I had a whole village behind me. At the age of
Nice.
nine, at the age of 9,
Uh-huh.
I got a call because I always just extempo one thing. I still do it up to today, but I used to do it at the age of 9. I got a call from a radio disc jockey who is now he's still in the business, Hamlet Mark, and he told me that he wanted me to do a radio program, a
Mhm.
cricket match, like to do the live
Yes.
broadcast from a cricket match as a
Yes.
sports reporter. And I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the radio. I'm actually going to be on the radio. I was very excited about it. And
Yes.
so every week now, I was the sportscaster guy. I was the guy that, okay, and Steve Mahon played and giving all the sports scores. And I was shaking. So my first induction into media was getting
Mm-hmm.
that call from Hamlet Mark, where I had to now I warped into this radio sports reporter, and that
Okay.
was my first induction. So there was all this richness in my neighborhood, of people that I could have looked up to. But
Okay.
one of the things that I've always fantasized about is just the bigger world. What is it? How is the bigger world? How is the world? I wonder how things are in the United States. I wonder how things are in Canada, and
Yes.
just fantasize about all of this, breaking out barriers and
Yes.
borders.
Yes. 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 Well, I
Yeah.
have a big one for you. I once I first heard the ride along, I love your song in that. I think it's remind me of Night Rider. Your
Oh, the
ride
night
along song.
or this one?
Yes, because I enjoy your segment.
Yes,
But you
yes, yes.
you were in Grenada when the general election. What's your biggest takeaway from the general election this year?
General election. Let me tell you something. I I happen to not like elections too much.
Okay.
Funny enough, right? Because as I said, I'm a happy maker.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see people happy. I like to see people coming together. I like to see people together. I like to see people partying. I like to see people in glee. And whenever it's election, it always negates that for me because people are separated. People are
Yes.
separated in terms of the color that they support, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that too much, right?
Yes.
People that are best friends, people that are neighbors, people who are closely related, brothers, sisters, aunties, because of the political affiliation and because of the stigmatization that exists in the
Yeah.
community, because Grenada is so small,
Very.
you see that separation,
Yes.
and that's one of my. I mean, this is one thing I really don't like about election. But to your
Yeah.
question, my the thing for the my high point of the election is and has been the inspiration that was given, particularly by one candidate, Jonathan Lacrette. I've watched Jonathan Lacrette, and first, when I heard of Jonathan Lacrette, Laco, I knew absolutely nothing about the man. I'm like, who's Lacrette? Who's that? You
Yeah.
know, and I inquired about him. I never heard about him before. I never saw him before. I never heard him speak before. They said he was a pastor, and I'm like, okay, all right. So, but Hermie, when I saw Lacrette, and I heard he spoke the first time, okay, sound like a cool guy.
Mhm.
And he continued on that path. And the highest peak for me, the highest point for me, I was at this rally where he did the prayer.
Yes.
And to me, that was just the peak of the entire campaign, because at that point in time, it wasn't about separation. It wasn't about putting people yellow against green or whatever. I think he basically spoke to the entire population, because it's true and in fact that we as Grenadians need to come together. We as Grenadians need to have an inspiration. We as Grenadian and Caribbean people need to forget about all the tribalism that exists and just understand that there is a higher being and channeling that higher being. So that for me was the highest peak of the whole election season. Not the antiques, not the name calling. I hate the name calling. I
Yes.
hate all of the back and forth and the rivalry. I know it exists and it well, I ain't gonna say need to exist, but
Yeah.
it exists in our politics. But I think it's more important that we come together, and we don't see that often, but we saw it then when Lacrette
Yeah.
spoke. He really spoke to the entire population, I believe.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Because I love the fact when he said Christians and non-Christian. Raise your hand. That just touched my heart when he said it like that. So
Yeah,
I could attest
absolutely,
to that. Yes.
absolutely. So,
I
so for me,
continue watching your yes.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I continue watching your segment, and any one of your segment touch your heart. I know one you just did recently just touched me to the core. So any one that you did recently that you want to share here?
Wow. Let me tell you something. Let's go back a bit. Because right along has been, I mean, where we are right now is not where we started, by the way. When we started the program, I had no idea what I was really doing with the program. I mean, I've been in media for a long time. I've been doing television for a long time, but the ride along thing was just like kind of like I was just driving and I picked up the first guest was Kirk Sitahal, and we was just driving and we turned on the live and we started to talk, and all of a sudden next day everybody saying, hey, so what you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, I didn't have no intention of doing anything tomorrow. That was just a one-off thing. I was just driving and me and Kirk talking and that was it. But people somehow gravitated to the fact that, yeah, you should keep doing this. You should keep doing this ride along thing. In fact,
Yeah.
at first, I didn't know what to call it. I used to call it drive along. I used to call it move along, walk along, whatever came to mind, I just throw it out there. But people said to me, they said, well, what you doing tomorrow? So I'm like, okay, well, I got to think of an idea now. So the next day, the next program, I went searching around. And while searching around, I saw a guy who was, he's a homeless guy. And he was sitting there. And I went and I spoke to him and I said, I want to talk to you because I noticed that you are here and you're homeless, and I gave him some food to eat. I want to understand your story. I want to understand how you got here. And he agreed to sit with me. And we sat in the car and we spoke, and we spoke about his life. And the guy was a banker. Like he was a well-to-do person, and he so happened that he got divorced, and then he lost his house, he lost his family, he lost his house, and then he ended up on the street. So that shaped me in a kind of way, right? So right away, we developed the mantra that
Mhm.
everyone have a story to tell.
Yes.
And it's factual. Everyone do have a story to tell. So that was the second program. And I said, you know what? I remember before my father died, he said to my mom that let's keep hope alive. And I've always said to myself that I would always continue on that trajectory. I would always continue on that path to allowing people to speak their truth, to keep hope
Yes.
alive.
Yes.
And that just came together for me. The keep hope alive, which was the last word spoken by my father before he died. And the fact that letting people tell their story and in a way communicating that and allowing the community to hear that in ways that it could build people could build themselves. And so we start right there. We started off with a mantra that everyone have a story to tell, and then it went on viral from there. We did a lot of entertainment stuff, and we did a lot of interview stuff. But to your question as to the story that touched me the most, there have been so many, to tell you the truth. I've interviewed hundreds of people who each individual story is powerful by itself. Each individual story is dynamic. It's like you having 5 children and you asking the father or the mother, which is your favorite child? And you're just like, I don't have a favorite. They all are important and
Yes.
significant and in their own way, right? So
Yes.
there's no specific story, but when the thing that touched my heart the most, the thing that touched my heart the most is whenever we have a story that deals with children. I'm very
Mm.
passionate about children and protecting the
Yes.
innocence of children. I hate when you have children being abused. I hate when you have children being taken advantage of, sexual molestation, all this stuff. It really, really, really touched my heart in a special way. And I think that once you have a microphone and you have a position and you have a voice, you should use it for good. So we decided to use it for the protection and upliftment and empowerment of children. So throughout anything that has to do with the empowerment of children, we take it very, very personal. We have over the period of time, we just sitting here in our studio here in New York, we were able to enact legislations, and not only, but we was also able to get a few of the pedophiles arrested. We were able to, from the studio here in New York, we were able to ensure that public officials don't take advantage of the position because we are watching. We had people who were arrested and charged for molestation, for crime against children. I mean, you name it. So it's a powerful position to be in when we are sitting here and we feel like, okay, well, we're just coming on the microphone and talking. No, it's much more than that. It
Yeah.
is really to change the world. It's really to uplift and change the world,
Mhm.
setting a specific agenda and a
Yes.
mantra. And our mantra and our agenda is protecting the innocence of children and
Yeah.
and women and children and people in general. But our stern focus is children, and that is important to us.
Yes. Yes. Well, let's talk food. Grenada, homeland, my homeland.
Yes.
Food, restaurant. What's your favorite restaurant? I know you gotta have a favorite restaurant.
Right. Well, yes. If anyone and for everyone who know me knows that I love to eat. Right. I love to eat. I oftentimes would stop in a lot of different areas when I'm in Grenada. There's someone selling chicken in Belmont. Past there stopping and I'm buying chicken. Um, I like there's a roti shop right opposite the port. in right after Karani, close to Karani James Boulevard. There's a restaurant that sells roti there. It's not like a restaurant. It's just like a little shop,
A little boot, yeah.
roti. And
Yeah.
I have to say that the truth is the roti is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they. I guess that's my phone that's ringing, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Let me
Yeah.
see if I could mute that phone from ringing. Give me the
Somebody
person.
probably calling to somebody probably calling to tell you something.
Yeah,
They're probably hearing you and they say, "Hey, let's talk to you."
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
I don't even know where exactly which software the phone is ringing from because it's a software phone, but they're calling from somewhere.
Yes.
But somebody call them
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Yeah, so I go to that restaurant pretty frequently, and I like the service and
Yes.
but I like small shops. I drive down the street, someone selling, the corn. I stop off there, and I like mangoes. I love
Oh,
mangoes.
who don't like mangoes?
Definitely, I'm gonna stop whenever I see mangoes and skin up.
Yes.
Let's put it like
Yes.
that. I'm always there. Mangoes and skin up, I'm there.
Yes.
That's me. Yeah.
Can you cook oil down?
Of course.
I can't.
Of course,
I,
of course.
I will one day though. I will one day cook
Let
oil.
me tell you something. Let me tell you something. We do a brunch
Mhm.
here right before the pandemic. We have our ride along support group brunch, and where we use a lot of those funds to help people around the world. So we traveled. We did a few here in New York. We took it on tour. We did one in Montreal. We did one in Toronto.
Mhm.
We traveled with a brunch. We went far with the brunch, right?
Okay.
And some people that came in and was able to taste oil for the first time, and they're like eating it in a certain way. I said, "No, that's not how you eat oil. From the preparation to the eating is a whole Grenadianism kind of thing. You have to learn how to eat it right. You have
Yes.
to learn to consume it right. Yeah. So
Yes.
we travel with it. We teach people how to make the oil down. We teach people how to
Mhm.
about Grenadian oil down and why it's so important. And on the oil down note, let me just say this here that
Uh-huh.
we traveled all over and we have oil down here in New York. I could get as well, but whenever
Yes.
I'm in Grenada, and that is for people in Grenada, it is difficult to get the oil down. In Grenada, where oil down is king. And I
King.
want king, queen, everything. It's everything for me.
Yes. Yes.
It's hard to get the oil down in Grenada. So I don't know
Yes.
if it's something like they could take this advice a bit,
Yes.
like if it's our national dish, like make it available, more widely available. Because when visitors come in from all over the world, they want to taste green. They don't want to taste macaroni and cheese. They could get that anywhere, anytime, anywhere up
Yes.
here. They want some Grenadian provision, oil
Yes.
down, breadfruit. They want that.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
hard for me to get oil down when I'm in Grenada. And for the restaurants in St. George's and those other places, please more oil down, please. More
Yes.
oil down.
Yes.
More.
Tell it. Tell it. Tell it. Tell it. Tell it.
It's not
Yes.
gonna hurt to get more oil down.
The-
You know what I
yes.
mean? I would listen. I would be a regular customer.
Yes.
Yeah, you could provide it to the hotels and let people come and just consume your oil down
All
because
done.
that's a national dish.
On this. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I am very ashamed of myself. I am ashamed because I'm a born Grenadian, but I don't know Grenada very well. I don't know Grenada at all. I said the next time I go home, I have to start learning my island. I have to go places. Somebody said there's a waterfall in Victoria, and I was like, what? A waterfall in
yeah,
Victoria?
yeah.
And it's,
Let me tell you a little story.
yes.
Um, so I left Grenada. I left Grenada when I was 15 years old.
Okay. Same with me.
Before I left Grenada the first time, um, I only been to St. George's one time,
Mhm.
right? And before I left Grenada, I've never driven in Grenada because I left at 15.
Yes. Mhm.
And I didn't return back to Grenada until I was in my 20s, late 20s,
Mhm.
right? So when I got back to Grenada, I've never driven in Grenada before. And I didn't know any place in Grenada. So I got off the airport and I'm looking around. I said, okay, it looks familiar because when I came to the US, I remember coming to the airport, yes. But from there, I knew nowhere.
Yeah.
I didn't know anywhere. And I started to drive and I'm like, where am I going? I remember over Granny Tang because I remember Granny Tang a bit. And from there, I had to ask people. So I'll stop people and say, yo, how do I get to the Esplanade Mall? They'll be like, yo, you're in Grenada, you can't lose. You can't lose. You just keep driving. I said, keep driving where? Like you have to keep what direction?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you go so and then go down so, and when you reach so, go over so, and that kind of direction. But it was hard for me. It was
Yeah.
hard for me because I did not drive, and I only been to St. George's one time, so it was hard for me. But I learned it now. I'm much better at getting around in Grenada now. I'm much better now.
Yes. That's good. That's good. I know I definitely have to get better at it, definitely. And that's one of my plans when I go back home is to learn
Yeah,
my beautiful island. I see on your ride along you have something about the trilogy, the
the
colors.
trilogy, the
Yeah,
trilogy.
what is that?
Okay, you know what? I okay. So remember I told you in the beginning I'm a happy maker.
Yes.
I am
Happy
not
making, yes.
I'm not a TV host. I'm on TV, but don't put me into that box because I'm not that.
Okay.
I am not. I run a business, but I'm not. Just a businessman. I
Hmm.
do parties, but I'm not a promoter, right?
Okay.
I'm a happy maker. One of the things that I do as an extension of making people happy is produce a mass band in
Yeah.
Grenada. So in 2015, we started Amazing Colors, right? That is a
Mhm.
mass band, a Monday night mass band. And if anybody understand what Monday night mass is, it's like colors, lights, glow stick. It started as more of a t-shirt type band where people come out
Mhm.
and showcase. It was mainly brands like the Flow and the Digicel and those brands who came out and promoted themselves. But it was mainly
Mhm.
t-shirt. So 2015, when I came in, I said, I want to do that. I want to do Monday Night Mass. I love the excitement and I love the vibe that people get when they play Monday Night Mass. So we
Yes.
started 2015 with Amazing Colors. Can't remember the theme, but every year I create a theme.
Okay.
So and we had superhero, we had Amazing Colors Magic, we had Amazing Colors um Treasure Island, Amazing Colors Gold, I mean, we have all sorts of names. It's like I get up and it's I get that inspiration, that vibe.
Hmm.
I remember when I did it in Carriacou, and oh, are we running out of time? Let me know.
Yeah. No. 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 We're not.
Okay,
No.
all
We're
right.
good.
So we did it I did it in
Yeah.
Carriacou, and I remember when I got off the boat,
Yes.
and um, I was feeling so sick, and and because the boat ride, and I actually the inspiration was, I named the whole theme after that feeling that I had. So it
Okay.
all comes in different ways. So this year wrong, it's been almost 3 years since we had Carnival in Grenada because of
Yes.
the
COVID.
pandemic, right?
Yes.
So I
Hmm.
wanted to come with a concept that is both thrilling, that is
Hmm.
exciting, and to signify the 3 years since we had Monday Night Mass in Grenada.
Okay.
Uh, so, trilogy is a concept that we developed to bring real serious excitement back into Monday Night Mass. And we do it a
Mhm.
little bit different. So, there
Okay.
are a lot of things that we're going to be doing that would thrill the whole everybody
Okay.
that's watching, and
Okay.
it would be a thriller. It will
Yes.
really be a thriller. People would be amazed. So we urging people, even if you're not gonna play, just take a look at the Amazing Colors. You'll see
Okay.
that it will be a thrilling experience just to watch the presentation that we will be presenting this year.
Okay.
So it's a
Nice.
Monday Night Mass band to answer your question.
Nice. 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 And my last question for you is the trivia. I love your trivias. Do you
Oh,
have a program or what? I love your trivias.
Right, right. Well, it all comes full circle because the trivia on Fridays, we think we do so much stories, and uh,
Yes.
sometimes people are sad, and sometimes we spark some sort of engagement where people are debating amongst each other, and it
Mhm.
seems like it might be combative during the week, but it's all love. So on
Yes.
Friday we don't do any of those stories. We call it
Yes.
no drama on a Friday.
I know. Mhm.
And we take away all the debates, all the hard conversation, all the tough stories, and we just play a game,
Nice.
right?
Nice.
The game is right trivia,
Trivia.
and it's basically a trivia game. It's
Yes.
educational and fun
Very,
because we play
very, very,
music, we
very.
dance. You know what I mean? People, and funny enough, I
Yes.
did not know how impactful that the trivia game was. I really didn't.
Yes.
Someone called me like last week or so. I couldn't do it. Yeah, and someone messaged me, and this lady was saying, "Do you know that is my weekly therapy?" People really, really look forward to the trivia game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It
And
was disappointing to read your message, but I says, well, I understand. Something
yeah,
comes.
it
Yeah.
is. It is sometimes. Let me tell you, sometimes because even what you do, what people don't understand, sometimes it takes away so much
Yes.
from us as producers, as hosts, because
Yes.
people see 1 hour program, but it's not 1 hour. It's a whole day.
It's a
Like
whole day.
it's an
Right.
entire day, and it's very exhausting. And people just say, okay, well, you know what? It's just an hour. It's just an hour show. No, it's not.
It's
It
not.
is much more than that. It's a
Yes.
whole entire. It's a daily process, and because we have a show every day,
Yes.
think about having to put together a good concept and having to present a good concept, and all the
Yes.
concepts are different. You speak into 1 minute, you're speaking to a politician about political
Mhm.
matters. The next
Mhm.
minute, you're speaking to someone about child sexual molestation matter,
Yes.
and it's just so diverse. So you have to get your mindset. You have to
Yes.
reset your mindset, reset your emotion because things take a
Yes.
toll on you sometimes.
Yes.
Um, when I started, I didn't have all this gray hair, but now you
Yes.
see,
Yes. Yes.
after
Yes.
all the stories, it gets to you.
Yes. I'm gonna go to the comments and read the comments now.
Yeah.
Matthew S. Harris. Good morning, my brother, Captain Harris. You are one of the best. So that's one for you.
Oh yeah. That's Captain Harris, right?
Yes, Captain
That
Harris.
is my boy, my Captain Harris. How you doing, Captain Harris? Absolutely, absolutely. He's a businessman, a strong businessman, and he
True.
does. Yeah, big up yourself, Captain Harris. And oftentimes he does, make sure that whenever I need accommodation in Grenada, he take care of the scene. So big up yourself, Captain Harris.
Yes, 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 yes. Evelyn
Yes.
said, good morning. Stephen says, we need to call it oil up, which I don't understand why he said that instead of down. He said, we need to call it oil up. Bring
I
it
love.
to the world. Yes, oil up.
Yes.
Junior, it was a pleasure. I thank you very much for being here. I just wanted to flip the script on you because you're always doing the hard work. So I wanted you to
Yeah, yeah,
relax
yeah.
today.
Absolutely. Whenever you listen, anytime, just give me a call. I'm more than always happy
Yes.
to talk about this project. And I also want to give credit to my hardworking team because people see me in front of the scene, but what they don't know is that there is a mile of people behind me, and one
Yes.
of the powerful person that is ensuring that we are consistently filled with content is my producer Lois JJ. She's the hardest working member on the team, and kudos and respect and a lot of admiration to her. We also have our moderators who make sure that things run properly in the chat. We have Deanne Fraser, we have Gail Charles, and we have Kibbs. And in studio, we have my son, who's Jacoby. He's in college studying media. He managed the studio and make sure that everything works here. So it's a whole set of people who ensure that the program comes out on a daily basis. So it's a whole team that makes it happen every day.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. So again, thank you very much. So I'll get you back on your ride along.
No problem. No
Could you
problem.
hit
Thank you
could
so
you
much.
hit it one more time?
Hey,
Your ride
the music,
along music,
the
yes.
music.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, Facebook, you had it. Junior George, thank you for joining me on Facebook. Family, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have an awesome Wednesday, and I'll see you next week when my topic will be about mercy. Mercy, mercy, mercy. Bye.